Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Ravens flock? I am so excited tonight to be back with you on a Friday evening, your favorite hangout. I'm your girl, Yolanda B. I'm so glad to see all of you. We got some news today. We got some news, and this is one thing that the Ravens have been asking for. We've been asking for change, and we'll dive into the news in just a bit, but I like to start my show by giving you just a bit of inspiration, a little inspirational quote. And the quote that I read this week, and I want to share it with you. It said, "Growth usually looks uncomfortable before it looks impressive." I think that one is kind of applicable here to what the Ravens are experiencing right now. And I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know how you're feeling about this new hire. Yes, we've got our guy, Declan Doyle from the Chicago Bears. And when I heard the news, I'm not one that really gets over emotional about something. I have to kind of sit with it for a bit. I have to study. I've got to do some research before I can come to a conclusion. And I was at work, obviously, so I can't stop what I'm doing. I can't research like I would like to, but, I'll do the best I can. And so after work, I'm trying to find out as much information about Declan as I can. And I received a text message from my nephew, who is a Chicago Bears fan. Shout out to my nephew, David. He actually joined the show. I think he live streamed the game with us, or part of the game, when we played the Chicago Bears. And we actually beat them this year, so that's good. But he sent me a text and he said, "This is a great hire for you." I'm like, "You think so?" He said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." So, obviously I listened to what my nephew had to say because I trust him. But there's nothing like doing your own study of a person. And one thing that I'm keeping in mind throughout this whole process is the words from our new head coach. The other day we heard, or I think it was yesterday maybe. Yeah, it was yesterday. We heard from our new head coach, and the Ravens flock have been asking for change, right? We didn't want that old, stale message anymore. We wanted to see something different. We wanted to see something innovative. We wanted to see change in a positive way. And I think we're getting it. I think we are. But before I dive into kind of my thoughts on Declan, I want to talk a little bit about one thing that resonated with me from our new head coach. And Jesse Minter said, and I'm paraphrasing, but what I took away from him is that we are a team. We're doing this together. We're in this together. It's a we factor. It's not just me. It's all of us. And so I keep that same idea in philosophy and mindset as I kind of process everything that's happening, all the changes that we're seeing with our team. But quite frankly, whether you are on the side of, I'm really excited about Declan Doyle, or whether you are on the side of, wait, what did we just do here? You have to admit, it was really slim pickings right now in terms of who is going to be our next offensive coordinator. It's really slim pickings. And my first pick, but this is before I knew that we were firing John Harbaugh and that we'd actually be looking for a new offensive coordinator. My first pick obviously would have been Eric Bieniemy, but boy, did the Chiefs swoop in and snatch him up, right? So he's off the board, gone. Once we heard the news, oh, okay, we have a new head coach. We're going to be looking, in the market for a new offensive coordinator. My thoughts, people ask me, Yolanda, who would you like? And I like Mike McDaniel. That was my choice up until he signed earlier this week, and he too was taken off the board. So that left us with candidates such as Cliff Kingsbury. I was not a fan of Cliff Kingsbury, but I said, well, at the time there were rumors, and again, these are just rumors, so you take it with a grain of salt, right? You don't buy into it unless you hear the player actually say it out of their own mouth. It's hearsay. But there were rumors like, oh, well, Lamar Jackson wants Cliff Kingsbury. That's who he wants. So I said, well, head scratcher, I don't get it, but if that's who my quarterback wants, I'm going to trust that that's who he knows is going to be the guy to lead us to the promised land. Okay, let's go with it, right? Not really a fan of Cliff Kingsbury for obvious reasons. So that leaves us with a couple of other names. And by Cliff Kingsbury, he seemed to have been one of the only ones remaining who had experience in the role of an offensive coordinator. Because, yeah, I know, everyone knows by now, what are the cons of Declan? He's 29, same age as our quarterback, a few years younger than our running back, our star running back, but he's here to lead this team. Never called any offensive plays. Those are question marks, and rightfully so. And I'm not one to dismiss them and say, oh, we got a good one. We got the best one out there. I don't know that yet. I'm a more, let me wait and see kind of person. But the good things, the positives, right? The positives that I like about Declan. You look where he's come from. And we hear about the coaching trees. We hear about players who and coaches who come from these certain organizations who are known for either defense or they're known for offense. And you look where he's come from under Sean Payton. And you look also at what he's done with Ben Johnson. Two coaches offensively who are masterminds in their own right. And look what Declan has done with a Bo Nix, with a Caleb Williams. But you know me, I'm going to say, okay, let's look at the flip side of this, right? And I'm coming for you. I'm going to get to everybody. I see you in the chat. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for hanging out on this Friday night. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you have not already. But I look at the opposite side of the pendulum too, because you can't, I'm not the one who's just always yes, 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 or no, no, no. I'm pretty even. And when I look at the positives, I have to balance it with, all right, okay, he's coming from these wonderful coaching trees that excelled in player development for quarterbacks who had only been in the league a year or two. Well, that's not what we have here with Lamar Jackson. Now entering into his 9th season, he's not a Bo Nix. He's not a Caleb Williams. So the needs of our quarterback are vastly different from what the needs were when he was with Sean Payton, when he was with Ben Johnson, and when he was coaching those young, somewhat inexperienced, really, quarterbacks. But let me take a moment to say hello to everyone who's joined in the chat. I might not see all of you, but I can see most of you who've joined. Thank you, Florence, for being here. Lindsay, Bailey, I see you. Co-Air Multimedia. Reese, thank you for being here. Drain L. Grimm, we need prayer. Look, it's been a rough week for me. It was a long day today, and I said, I don't know if I can make it tonight, but hanging out with you guys makes it all worthwhile. So I'm happy to be here. But Imani, I see you. I'm not a fan of this hire. I know. Some people are really on the side of no, I'm not a fan of this. Nana Rave, good to see you. Hey, Yolanda, we've had what appears to be positive changes. I can hardly wait to see the pieces come together. There you go. I get it, Imani. I get it. And I see you, Rakib. Good to see you. Big Reg. I hope you're streaming tonight. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Osmond. I can understand that, Imani. I can understand not being a fan because on the one hand, like I said earlier in the stream, we were saying, well, we want to change, right? We don't want, I can't even think of his name, just left our coordinator. Left. That's how quick people's names escape me. But we just got rid of our, our offensive coordinator. He's now with the Browns. Good luck over to him. Todd Monken. There we go. And then, we say, well, we want something young. We want something, someone younger and someone innovative, and we want change. And it's like, okay, We're getting that. We are. But with that comes, look, I mean, the upside to this is we have an opportunity in front of us to kind of cultivate and shape and mold this team. And I'm speaking solely right now about offense. With Declan Doyle, from what I've read, the little I've read about him this afternoon, he specializes in that kind of offense that Lamar Jackson excels in, that kind of hurry up offense, that play action, things that we have the talent to actually be successful in executing. And you look at the Bears last year, they were, I think, the only team who was in the top 10 for both rushing and passing yards. Top 10. Where did the Ravens land last year? And a lot of it has to do with, we don't really utilize our weapons good enough. There are instances where we've had multiple players tell us, what's the point in you having weapons if you're not going to use them? Well, if Declan Doyle can come in and maximize the talent, I think players like Tez Walker, I think Tez Walker is going to take would stand to benefit significantly from a Declan Doyle. I think players like, we have Tylan Wallace. You guys forgot about Tylan Wallace? Yeah, he's still on the team. How much do we use him? Guys like D-Hop. I know D-Hop is a little older now. I get it. But D-Hop has shown you he can still make spectacular catches. He might not make them as plentiful as he used to. He might not make as many, but he can still get you. He can still get you a good contested catch. He's good for that. So, I mean, with the underutilization of our players, the fact that we had our best running back on the sideline and we see the camera pan over to Derrick Henry and we're like, why is Derrick Henry on the side on a 3rd and 2? The decisions, the play calling, it was questionable oftentimes. And now for Declan, this is his opportunity to mold this team and to kind of show, hey, I might not have any play calling experience under my belt, but I've sat under the best of them. I was talking to my nephew and I was, asking him about him. He said, even though he doesn't have play calling experience, he's in every single meeting. He's always there. He's doing just about as much as the head coach was doing, except he didn't actually call the plays, but he knew them. He understood them. He understood the why behind the plays. That's important. That's what I call transferable skills. So although, he is the youngest offensive coordinator in the league, and I believe he is the youngest in NFL history, all right, we got to overlook that now. Jesse Minter made a very decisive statement, and his position is we're getting innovative with our team, offense and defense. We're not doing that same old, same old. Some of the questions that I found really funny, the questions that were asked of Jesse Minter about what did he see as an outsider, right? Last season, he was with the Chargers. What did Jesse Minter see? Kind of what was wrong with our defense? And as diplomatic as he could be, he kind of, skirted around the fact that okay, our defense was terrible. That's what I saw. I saw a horrible defense, but he didn't say it. He just kind of said, we're going to focus on moving forward. And, he was really politically correct there. We're going to focus on moving this team forward and the ideas that I have. And kind of, he said he's going to be calling the defensive plays for us. That's a win, absolute win. So there are some things to be excited about in this hire. And I'm not here to sway you one way or another, because I think we're all in this with a question mark at the end of the day. There are pros, there are cons, and we have to wait and see. How does Lamar feel about this? We'll have to wait and see. Derrick Henry, what did he have to say about it? We'll wait and see. Now, of course, you don't expect your players to get out there and say, oh, well, I don't know what they were thinking when they hired this guy. No, they're not going to say that. But it's not always about what people say. It's about sometimes what they don't say. And you read between the lines. You look at body language. And if one thing that we learned this past season, the body language of, even starting with Lamar all the way down, the body language of our players was, I'm tired of this. I'm tired. So if Declan can come in here and say, I've worked with one of the best offensive lines in the league this past season. What you guys, have on this field and what you guys tote out here on the field week in and week out and say, we believe in our guys and we have some of the best players in what you have at offensive line ain't gonna cut it. I know, again, that is for EDC to make the decision of who's on this roster, how we build the roster, how we construct it. All of that is EDC. But I would hope, listening to Jesse Minter, it's a collaborative. It's not what it used to be. This is more, let's all sit down at the table. Let's all talk about what we think the strengths are and what we think the weaknesses are of this team and what we need to do to get better. And that's where Declan can say, let me tell you why. Let me tell you what a good guard can do for you. And let me tell you why the current guards that you have aren't going to get us to the end game, the end goal for us. That leads us to another question. What's going to happen with Tyler Linderbaum, that is? Again, there were talks about Tyler possibly going to the Giants to be with our former head coach. I forgot his name too. But, possibly going over to join Harbaugh. Out of all of the members of this offensive line, he's the only one that I would say, please do whatever you need to do. We know that the salary cap has increased now to over, I think, $300 million. Yeah, I know it's for every team. It's not just for the Ravens, right? But still, get us some offensive linemen. Don't have us out here with an entire new O-line. Now, if Tyler leaves, now we don't have a center. We didn't have guards. Oh, child, don't get me started. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat, because I'm just over here yapping and y'all having a conversation all of your own. Let me ask this. Drop it in the chat real quick. What grade do you give this hire? What grade, A, B, C, D, or F, for Declan Doyle? What grade do you give him? Hey, Heather, I see you. Yeah, we do need to re-sign D-Hop. I do. I want to run it back with D-Hop under new leadership, different leadership. I do. I hope we run it back with him. But you know what? Honestly, I don't want us to stop there. Because like my nephew said, one of the things that he's like, you guys need to upgrade your O-line, but you also need to upgrade your wide receiver core. And I said, dang, got him. Got him. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Hey, Greg Carter, he says, I like it. If I had to give a grade, if I had to grade this hire, I'm right at a B-. I'm right around a B, a solid B. I'm going to give it a solid B to B-. Again, there are good things about him that I like, but the uncertainty. And I said in one of the previous videos, I said, what I don't want to see is all of our coaches, all of the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator. Now we have a young head coach. I don't want to see everybody being young and inexperienced. Well, here we are. We'll see what happens. And I'm not even that concerned about a defensive coordinator, because even if we went young with a defensive coordinator, I think because I believe enough in Jesse Minter that he can kind of coach that person up. Not saying a Zach Orr or anything, but what I'm saying is if we brought in a defensive coordinator that maybe wasn't getting it, struggled schematically, I think Jesse Minter would be strong enough and wise and smart enough to say, hey, let me walk you through how to improve. I see the mistakes you made in this game. Here's how we adjust. I don't know that he can do that offensively. I don't know that Jesse Minter can do that. Maybe he can, and hopefully he can. Hopefully. But now we're going to leave all of that in the hands of Declan. Brandon Tillman says he gives this one an A+. Okay. All right, I see you. So some of you, Antonio says he gives it an A. Nana gives it a B. Kwame says incomplete. Wait, you don't get an incomplete. This is not an incomplete assignment. Tell me, what do you think, Kwame? Do you think that this is a good hire? And I mean, of course, we can say to be determined. Killer Cam gives it an A minus. All right. Okay. Yeah, Yolanda with the new cap announced today. They said it's enough to keep Linderbaum. I hope so. Oh yeah, Lady Laura Baltimore, we need to keep Snoop. We need to get rid of what's the quarterback that we signed? We had no business signing him. Cooper Rush. People who I don't want to remember the names, I try to erase them out of my brain. But yeah, so I see. Does anyone think? Oh wait, someone's MDT Sports gave it a D. Drain L Grimm gave it a D plus. All right. And again, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to try and, change your mind. All I'm going to tell you is before we cast too much judgment, we do really have to wait and see, because there's not a lot of data for us to go by in terms of whether this is a good hire for us. It's going to it's going to boil down to how his relationship, him being Declan, how his relationship is with Lamar and how it is with Derrick Henry, our keys to the offense. And then it's going to come down to creativity, which is another thing that I think I mentioned it earlier. This is what I like about him. Creativity, innovative, young, can relate to the players. I don't know how I would feel if you're the same age as me and now I got to call you my coach. How's Lamar going to feel about that? I don't know. Lamar, my thing is Lamar is so Super Bowl now focused that maybe this 29-year-old, he doesn't have play calling experience. Maybe, just maybe, that might be like, look, it is what it is. I can't change that. But what can you do to take this team to the next level? And then especially if, like I said, we keep what Jesse Minter said and we do a collaborative kind of approach to this team. And Declan says, Lamar, tell me what it is you need. Tell me how we can get you there, how we can advance you, and how I can support you in it. Well, we've already talked about the ways you support him. You build an offensive line, get him a better O-line. You get him, even if we bring back D-Hop, we still need to go out and get a wide receiver. We need a number one. We need to upgrade that wide receiver room. And like Nana said, with the announcement of this cap increasing, there's no reason at this point, we don't allow Linderbaum to hit free agency. Because believe it or not, I know we are in Cancun right now, but the offseason has not begun. The Baltimore Ravens need to sign a deal right now with Tyler Linderbaum. That needs to happen today, tonight. We need to have an announcement on social media, on Twitter, somewhere saying we have signed. We have come to, we've come to an agreement. We've come to terms, or we've agreed upon terms for an extension for Tyler Linderbaum. That needs to happen, because starting all over with everybody new at offensive line, sans your two tackles. Come on now, that's not going to work. Yeah, go get JJ from the Vikings. Seriously, look at the teams that have, and I don't like to say this, the ones that are going nowhere fast. You look at those teams and you say, okay, they've got a stud at wide receiver. They've got a beast at offensive lineman, at guard. Do that. But please, one thing I beg of the Ravens, please do not entrust 2/3 of this offensive line to rookies. If you want to draft a guard, absolutely. And I'm going to start looking into some mock drafts and see who's out there and see who would be a really good fit or who I think we should draft. But even if there is a guy in the draft upcoming who is a guard, don't just say we're not going to make a splash in free agency. We're not going to address it now. We're going to just wait. We're going to hold off. We just going to wait. We're going to hang out. It's okay. No, don't have that mentality, because we need some veteran experience. You need veteran experience at every position on this field. Everyone. What veteran guard do you have right now? By the way, what are we doing with Daniel Falele? Seriously, and I'm not trying to be crass. How much for Linderbaum? whatever he asks for. We're in desperate need. We're in dire shape. Yeah. Um, so, but yeah, whatever I don't know how much for him. That's a good question. Bo knows. I'm not sure. But I'd love to keep him. I hope we do. And, um, one person that I'm still mad that we got rid of a couple of years ago. Why did we trade Eitler? Why? Because we said that Voorhees and Falele and what was the other one? Malisala. We said that those were going to be the next up and coming. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and we could have gotten Zeitler on a vet minimum, a team-friendly deal. But, I don't know. Yeah, Nana, send Falele to the Giants. If Voorhees can go there too. Voorhees can go there too. If John Harbaugh was so fond and had so much belief in them as players, why haven't we heard the news that they're heading to the Giants already? Same question is, what about our former defensive coordinator, who I'm trying to forget his name, Zach Orr? Why didn't Harbaugh take him with him? He was willing to have him as the next year's defensive coordinator for the Ravens. So what's the problem? I don't see the problem. Hey, Jay the Six, I am so glad you are here. Let me give a huge shout out to Jay the Six. Make sure you go over and subscribe to Jay the Six channel. He did a live stream last night with Pride Urban Media, and it was amazing. That was an excellent show, kind of like giving you like the business. This is what the Ravens need. Here's what the Ravens need. And who's in, who's out, who do you bring back? That was an excellent show. Excellent show. Great show. Nana says Linderbaum is about 20 million. Ooh. We're going to have Falele as a free agent. Okay, great. Lovely. Wonderful. Thank you, James and Victoria. I love it. He's a free agent. Okay, go be with Harbaugh. That works for me. I just don't see a world where Declan comes in and says, Falele is a free agent. Let's re-sign him. For what? No. Stop it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is a free agent. Yeah, he said, wait, I thought 77 was a free agent. No, you're not missing anything. That's right. He is a free agent. Yeah, it's not open yet. Nope, we're still in the season. Like this season hasn't ended yet. Voorhees is on the 4th year of his rookie deal. So what? He needs to go. He needs to go. I mean, look. I know, to be fair, free agency hasn't started yet. You're right. But what's the likelihood? What is the likelihood of Falele going to the Giants? Harbaugh know that guy is not good. Harbaugh don't want him on that team. No, stop it. But, yeah. 77 is a free agent. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you. Bring back, oh, wait, I'm with you when you're right. I'm with you when you're right. Someone said earlier, we need some dogs on this team. All the 70s need to go. Wait, no, not all the 70s, but most of them, they sure do. They need to go. But yeah, we need some dogs in the trenches. We do. Speaking of trenches, did you guys hear or read the tweet this afternoon from Justin Matabike? Well, not Justin, but Nnamdi Matabike. He just sent a simple tweet, good news. That's it. I don't know what it means. I don't know if he got a second, third, fourth opinion. I don't know if somebody is telling him, some medical person is telling him, hey, you might be able to make a return. But even if he does, I'll say this, I'm happy. If he can return to us, if Nnamdi gets another opportunity to play, if his injury is not like career ending, right? If it's not, then he can come back. I'd love it. But we still need to bring some other to build the trenches. We do. I'm not really right now. I'm going to say this right now. Right now, I'm not really as concerned about our defense improving. I believe I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty sure in Jesse Minter. I don't think that we're going to see the kind of defense that we've had to suffer through for the last 2 years. I really don't. I don't. So that's kind of where I am. But yeah, he missed an entire year. Exactly. He missed an entire year. So you have to figure. Like, you can't just say, oh, Nnamdi Madubuike can come back. I'm not saying that he can. I'm just saying if that's what the good news tweet was about. Who knows? It could have been that, he's about to be a husband or a father. We don't know what it means. So none of us know. He just put simple good news and praying hands. That was it. But if we're just speculating here, if he comes back, we don't just stop at, oh, well, we got Nnamdi Madubuike, so we are all set. No, we're not. Like John Edwards just said, he missed an entire year. We need to plan for that. But that's where I think Jesse Minter has the edge right now. I think he's smart enough. I think he's wise enough to realize that. And we don't just stop at, oh, we got Nnamdi Madubuike back, if that is the case. But hey, Justin Lewis, I see you. Thank you. Kendrick, how's it going? How you doing? Louisville Cardinals Raven, thank you, thank you. The answer to all questions is EDC and listening to him. Nothing will change in his philosophy. You know what? I'm glad you said that, because I want to speak on EDC in a minute. There was one thing I did not like from the press conference from Jesse Minter the other day. One thing I did not like. And I'm gonna tell you what it is, and then maybe you can tell me, Yolanda, you're looking too much into it. Maybe I am, but I don't like it. One of the questions that came, and it was directed to EDC, and his response was, oh, I never really looked at Jesse Minter as like a head coach. I never really thought of him as like a head coach. And then he went on to say, it just shows you how much he's grown, how much he's developed, etc. Now, that first part, I said, okay. Now, again, I might be looking too much into this, but I did not like it. I did not like the way I read into it. And I could be reading too much into it, but what I took from it was, I prefer John Harbaugh. I know that's my friend. I don't have much of a choice in this. This was above my pay grade. We now have Jesse Minter, but hey, it's gonna work out. It's all, everything's gonna be fine. I understand you tried to give him a compliment toward the end of your sentence was, oh, look how he's developed, he's improved, okay. But you didn't even have to say that about, I look at him and I never thought, I thought to see myself, thought to see him as a head coach. So going back to Louisville Cardinals Ravens statement about EDC, one thing I'm thinking, we're moving in a different direction now. EDC is a part of that mentality, that philosophy. We don't like change. We're going to keep doing it this way. It worked for us, 50 years ago. It's going to work for us now. No, this is an evolution, right? Things are changing all the time. And either you get with the times or you get out. And either EDC is going to be forced into changing because he's going to be outnumbered. He's going to be outnumbered. By the time Jesse Minter fills this coaching staff with what I'm going to believe is probably going to be a lot of younger minds, a lot of younger coaches, a difference in philosophy, difference in how we approach and how we attack these games. EDC, you're not going to be able to sit by and say, Daniel Falele, he needs to come back. Andrew Voorhees needs to come back. I think you said Voorhees is on his 4th year. Okay, we're going to start him. He did great for us last year. You're not going to be able to keep saying that because the younger generation is going to look at the data and they're going to say, well, let's look at the film. Let's look at the evidence. Where on this film where your guards are laying on the ground, is this a good look for your quarterback? And, he's going to be outnumbered. So he's either going to have to come out of that old mindset of like, nah, this is how we used to do it. We've done it this way for so many years, and you're going to have to shift, or, I don't see it working out too well for EDC. He's either going to have the draft of his life this upcoming season, because you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. You just can't. Huddle It Up Films. Hey there, Jason. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. He says, truly believe Harbs had EDC in draft jail. We'll find out. We'll find out. We will see whether this was majority Harbaugh or was this majority EDC, because now we can't hide behind the John Harbaugh was, kind of spearheading this. The John Harbaugh kind of wanted this for the team. That's gone now. So if EDC misses on this draft again this year, then what is it? So Drain L. Grimm said, Steve said this is EDC's decision, and Steve just approved this. Steve said that yesterday. Okay. Steve just approved. Okay, he said it was EDC's decision. Huh. I tend to not believe everything I hear. That's just me. I don't listen to everything I hear and take it at face value, because people will say anything. And your actions, to me, speak louder than your words. So true enough, he might have said it, but I got to see. I'm waiting to see how EDC does this offseason. I'm waiting to see how EDC embraces this new culture shift, this new change for the Ravens. We're moving in a younger direction, a more modern approach to how we look at our players, how we utilize our players, how we scheme the games for success. Because again, we're looking at a Super Bowl window that, as Lamar enters his 9th season, it's now. It's now. I don't want to hear the, give them 5 more years, give the coaches 3 to 5 more years. And by then, 2030, 2031, 2032, we should be right where we need to be. I don't want to hear that. I think we've waited and wasted enough of Lamar's time. We've waited long enough, and it's not rocket science. Build a wall, protect him, get him some weapons, do something better on defense. And again, I'm not really concerned about defense right now. I think we'll be all right. And 91B Daniel says, we're talking a lot about change and going in a new direction with a young, unproven staff. Can we touch on how Harbs was an underrated special teams coach who went on to be an 18-year-long coach? Yeah, we can touch on it, but I'm like this. This is how I feel. I'm like that girlfriend who breaks up with a guy or the relationship ends, and I'm not one to sit around and talk about him. That's just me, but I'll touch on it. And then I'm not going to touch on it anymore. That's old. It's done. Great for John Harbaugh for the success that he brought to the team. We won a Super Bowl with him. I appreciate his contributions. But in my mind, in a lot of ways, he let this team down. And that's all I'll say. But yeah, Louisville Cardinals, Raven, our success starts with EDC. It does. I think at this point, it's we either nail it this offseason, in the draft, in free agency, and really move in a different direction. And by different direction, I mean, we all know how cheap this front office can be. And now, even with an increase in cap space, they still can find a way to be cheap. Or what I'm also looking for is, we're not going to continue to invest in the defense. We're not going to pay bring in another safety. We're not going to overpay another middle linebacker. We're not doing that. We're not going to draft a cornerback in the first round. I want to know, like, that's the old way of thinking. That really is. This new way of thinking, hey, you got to protect your quarterback. That's something that the Bears showed you that they did this past year. They built around their quarterback and got him some weapons, and look where they went. So that's just a little, tidbit that I'm taking away from. No defense. I don't think the defense is going to be bad this year. I don't think I disagree with you, Brandon. I think our defense, when you are so far down, there's nowhere to go but up. You have to improve. By virtue of you being like bottom in the basement, I don't think we're going to be a bad defense this year. Now, are we going to get back in one season or, one off season and brings us current to the next year? Are we going to be that Baltimore bully defense that we have seen and that we've been accustomed to and that we would like to see again? I hope so. I don't know if we're going to be that right now, but even if this Ravens defense takes 5 steps, that's better than where they were before. And we got to, we're going to do a upcoming live stream where we talk about, hey, who are the free agents? I haven't studied all of them. I know there's like 20, 25 a lot of free agents on this team this year. A lot. This roster could look very different. And with those free agents, some of them need to go. Some of them really need to go. We don't need to re-sign them. We do have our first super chat coming through. Oh, I should have put it on the other screen. That's okay. We have a $10 donation coming from Tony Love. Thank you, Tony. He said, either these guys are trying to ruin Lamar's career or these guys are the world's smartest people that nobody knows about. I'll go with the former. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. I'm going to be optimistic right now. I am. I agree with, Louisville Cardinal Ravens. It's going to come down to what EDC does this offseason. That's going to tell us a lot because we can have the best coaches. Like we could have brought in, again, Eric Bieniemy wasn't an option by the time that we knew we were in the market or in the hunt for a new offensive coordinator. But we could have brought in an Eric Bieniemy. We could have brought in, a Mike McDaniel. You can bring in the best of the best. But if your players are not good, yeah, there's a such thing as developing talent and bringing the best out of your guys and maximizing them. Sure, there's that. But realistically, you've got to have talent on that field. And fun fact, we do have talent on defense. We have a lot of it. It just hasn't been used properly. It hasn't been schemed for success. So now what we do from here is like what Louisville Cardinals Ravens said. This is on EDC at this point. It is. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Minister of God 7, Mentor has a great defensive mind. The defense will fool a lot of people. And that's what I'm saying. For me right now, I'm not really worried about our defense. I believe our defense will improve. And as I said a minute ago, when you are just so bad defensively, we have to get better. Now, where I have the, little bit of reservation, I gave the grade of today's hire B minus, where I have a little bit of trepidation, where I have a little concern offensively. What are we going to do? I will feel better once the offseason officially begins, free agency starts, and we get rid of some players who just have been, I was going to say underperforming, but I'm going to change that, who've just been bad. Let me just keep it 100%. Once we get rid of some players who've just been terrible, and then that leaves us, I think James mentioned it earlier, Voorhees is on the 4th year of his rookie deal. What are we doing with him? Do we expect to see Voorhees out there again next year? So, hey, Breon Mitchell, EDC should have been fired 5 years ago. I think the test now becomes what he does right now, especially because he's going to be the minority in terms of how this team progresses, where this team goes moving forward. We're not going to be the Ravens defense with, the stagnant mindset. We've changed the philosophy. We've changed, kind of how we are looking at this and how we can be successful. It certainly wasn't doing what we continued to do, and the way we kept losing game after game, how we kept losing in the postseason. It was embarrassing. Like, we never got beyond that. Even though we had a 2-time, should have been a 3-time MVP, we couldn't get beyond that. So, that's kind of it. Yeah, that's it. Lamar with the Texans would be insane. Lamar's not going to the Texans. I don't want to hear it. I saw on Twitter, the Raiders had interest in Lamar Jackson. Yeah, well, so what? I'm sure, that's not, hey, I believe that's not my business. I mind my business. No, Lamar's not. I pray Lamar is not going anywhere. And all these other teams that, are considering him or reaching out and wanting to know, I heard, trade Lamar to the so-and-so for 3 first-round picks. No, just stop it. Stop the foolishness. No. But yeah, Frank G. Life, we need to get a real number 1 wide receiver. Facts. We do. We certainly do. And Nana said, we need better trainers and coaches as well. Yeah, the ones that fell under our last coach, who I can't even remember his name. I'm trying to forget it. I would tell you what, listen, I was so happy when I heard, okay, when a head coach is fired or, they're no longer retained there, they part ways with the head coach. Slicer said I was just reacting to a comment. Oh, okay. I was like, Slicer, no, I don't want Lamar to go. No, I don't want him to go. But good. He's like, he was just reacting to a comment. Yeah, But that's sad. Other teams can support their franchise quarterback, but we couldn't. Other teams could give their franchise quarterback a wide receiver, an upgrade in offensive line, but we couldn't. That's so sad. But a change is coming. Exactly. Lamar has a no trade clause, but he can still get traded. He can demand a trade. They can't trade him without his permission, but he can certainly say, I don't like what direction this is going in. I want to trade. He can. He can do that. And that's why I'm saying I'm praying that he says he wants to stay with us. It will be his decision to make. Ravens can't touch it. They can't do anything without him. Lamar Jackson has always been a mystery to me. Tell me why, Louisville Cardinals Raven. Why has he been a mystery to you? Why? But yeah, we do. We need to fix the O-line. I don't even want a decent wide receiver. I want a number 1. I want Lamar to have that. You know why? Because he deserves it. Because other teams give their quarterbacks a number 1. But the question I heard earlier this week was, would the Ravens really want to go out and get a bad attitude like a George Pickens? Would they want to bring somebody in, even though they can play? Would they want to bring someone in the locker room who's no nonsense? I don't know. The cost to cap for trading Lamar is incredibly high. Either void years or extend are both sides' best option. Yeah, they need to extend. They need to extend Lamar. Absolutely. And that's what I'm hoping that they're in talks for right now. Thanks, James and Victoria. I'm hoping that they're in talks to do that right now, to free up some additional cap space. That would be great. We need to, first order of business to me, find your offensive coordinator, check. Defensive coordinator, that's next. But also, simultaneously, while we're doing that, we're extending Lamar. We're extending. Nana said no to George Pickens. And it doesn't even have to be George Pickens. It could be, I'm thinking of any wide receiver who is really good. Really good. Bring him in. Why not? Why not? Obviously, I think there has to be it has to be a good fit. You can't just bring anyone in. It has to be a good fit. And, you know, I don't know. I think for me, George Pickens is a tough one. To me, George Pickens is a tough one because if we ever got to a place where we're having a serious conversation, like the Ravens were in talk with George Pickens, part of me says no because of what you hear, right? You hear he's difficult to get along with. You hear he's, insubordinate. You hear all these things. And we don't know if it's true or not. But boy, can he make a catch on the field, right? Can he make a catch on the field? Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, Louisville Cardinals Ravens. He's so private and hard to read, dealing with the cheapest GM in the league. But you know what? That's one thing I appreciate about Lamar. Because if it were me, I just talk too much. I have a big mouth. I just talk too much. I would be on there, listen, whatever microphone, does this thing work? Testing 1, 2. Okay, let me tell you something. The GM is not really trying to work with me. I've asked for this, and this. They don't want to give this to me. I know that's probably like breaching all kinds of protocol. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to, always speak highly of your organization. But that's why I'm in my lane over here, and I stick to, my little area. But yeah, he's very private. When he comes on, when we hear from him, you're right. He doesn't throw anybody under the bus. He always shoulders the responsibility. He takes the blame for himself. I wouldn't do it. I just, no. Hey, Ty, good to see you. Thanks for being here. George Pickens is a great Dallas teammate. Problem is Tomlin. Problem was Tomlin. That's a good question. I have several friends who are Cowboys fans, and yeah, some of them, I have a couple that say Pickens is pretty good, and the other ones that say, what are we doing with Pickens? So yeah, exactly, Frank G. Life, he'd be the same way. Like, I got to speak up. I can't, y'all not going to have me out here, because you think about it. That is Lamar Jackson's life out there. You put me behind this O-line that's trying to get me, like run over. No, I got to talk. I can't take it. Ty says, trade Mark Andrews for CeeDee Lamb. We're not trading Mark Andrews. I don't see it, because then if we did trade him, what would have been the purpose of us extending him, a couple months ago? What would have been the purpose? And remember, we're already cheap. This is an organization that's very cheap. So why would we have done that only to turn around a couple months later and say, all right, we appreciate you. I know we have new leadership in the front office, but the way that the Ravens are with money and finances, I don't know. Which brings up Likely. What are we doing with him? That's another conversation. We'll talk about that. Again, I got to write out all the free agents. I don't have them committed to memory just yet, but got to write out all the free agents, figure out who I want to see leave and who I want to see stay. But yeah, Isaiah Likely. We should have signed him. That's who we should have kept. I don't know what we're doing. Yeah. We'll see. Well, Eric DaCosta, the clock is ticking. You need to give Lamar an O-line. Facts. But you know what, Frank G. Life, the Ravens have been cheap, but now I'm hoping, because you look at, like I said, you look at these other organizations, you look at the Bears. They figured it out. They figured it out with the same amount of cap space that we had going into the season. I mean, they managed their money differently, obviously, because they weren't paying their quarterback like we are, certainly. But they were able to find some resources to upgrade their offense. Why can't we? And it's funny because we always come up short when it's time to spend on the offense. But guess what? We find money. I don't know where it comes from, but the Ravens find money out of nowhere to spend on the defense, no matter what. So this is a good lesson, this for us as fans to say, look, what are we going to do? Are we going to do something different? Because if we do the same old foolishness, overpay a linebacker, overpay a member of your secondary, overpay your interior D-line, if we're going to overpay them and then just say, well, you know what? Voorhees is still in his 4th year. Let's go ahead and give him this one last year, and we're going to coach him up. If we still use that type of mentality, then we're no different than we were with our last head coach. Just what I'm saying. Keto, Lady Laura Baltimore, he's a no. That's a no. He and Lamar work well together. Yeah. So, hey, Justin Lewis, trading Lamar, favorite target Mandrews to what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that we're trading him. I don't think we're trading Mark Andrews. I just don't know how we get Mark Andrews to improve in the postseason, namely. I want him to have that clutch factor, and he doesn't. He just doesn't. So, Nana says, we never had money even under Ozzie. I just don't get it. That's the problem. We need to be asking him to see, like, show me the books. Who's your bookkeeper? Who keeps them? And I think I've asked this before, and Louisville Cardinals Ravens said it's the president who oversees the funds. Who oversees this? Because nobody really knows. Somebody said, oh, it's the owner, and others say it's the president. Nobody really knows. But that's the thing. We don't know what's going on, but we just only hear of the Ravens were in talks with so-and-so. The Ravens were considering. They touched base with. The Ravens were trying to strike a deal with. Fill in the blank. And then we always end up going for someone cheaper. That's it. Wait, he said no team wants Andrews. I disagree with that. Now, I'm telling you, there's got to be a team out there. Because Mark Andrews is not a bad player. He's not. Again, to me, he's not clutch. He doesn't have that clutch factor. That's it. When we need him. He doesn't have that clutch factor when we need him. His production was down this past season, but then again, so was Isaiah Likely's. Let's be real. Other than Zay Flowers, he was our primary target. We didn't, Lamar, it was few and far between that Lamar looked in any other option and looked in anybody else's direction. All that's about to change. We're about to be able to spread the ball. We're going to be able to get players like Tez Walker. Like I said, we're going to be able to use so many of our players that just sat there at the sideline hoping that the coach would look their way and say, let me get in the game. It's going to be different. Nana says, I would not have paid him $39 million. $39 million. Whew. Yikes. Yeah. I think that we paid him. I think we overpaid him. TikTok. Hey there. Thanks for being here. Should we keep keep Marlon or trade him? We are getting into that in the next live stream because I'm going to type out a list of all of our free agents because I don't know them and I don't know who's on the last year of their deals. I don't have it committed to memory. But just answering that question really quickly. Marlon. I'm going to say we either do one of two things with him. We either restructure his contract and he takes a team-friendly deal. And by team-friendly, I mean dirt cheap. Or we trade him. That's it. We don't keep him on the team with the way that he is producing. And, Marlon, to me, after games when we lost, after games where the defense let us down, games where our offense was able to put up points, but our defense just folded. It was after those games, watching him and doing his, what is it, Instagram? What is that thing? Whatever, the reels or whatever. And he's over there like, laughing, kikiing, like somebody's over there telling jokes. Buddy, get it together. Do you understand that you are part of the problem? You are part of the I need you to go sit down on that plane on the way back home, get an iPad, figure out why the team is so bad, why the defense is so bad. That's what I need you to do. So, and I hear it. Several people are saying, switch Marlon to safety. He's not as athletic as he once was. Switch him to safety. But honestly, who was our most athletic cornerback this year? Who was that cornerback that would, get after you? Who was that? As much as I hate to say it, as much as I don't, it was Marlon. In my opinion, who else besides Marlon? Think about all of our cornerbacks who played this year. Wait, move Hump out the building. No, we can't do that. We can't do it. Wait, Lady Laura Baltimore, she said, bye, Marlon. I don't know. Worldwide. Hey there. Hope your channel is growing. I'm a new subscriber. I appreciate you. For all of you who have just tuned in and you are new to the channel and subscribing, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Ty Riggs, I hear you, Cheeto. So somebody said that the other day when I asked that question. I said, who was our most aggressive, athletic cornerback? Somebody said Cheeto, and I'm like, Marlon was, like Danity said, Danity, I see you. LBHT is in the building. I saw them earlier. Want to give a huge shout out to LBHT. Please make sure that you go over and subscribe to Lunch Break Hot Take. They put out fire content. I'm talking all the time, covering Baltimore Ravens and bonus, the Panthers. That's right, because half of the show, one of the brothers is a Panthers fan, and the Panthers are going to come up this year. I think they're, they did more than we did. They made it to the playoffs. Anyway, Danity said it. Marlon was the only one out there creating turnovers. He was. So, but I'll say, speaking of Jesse Minter, and I know this stream was we were trying to focus on the offensive coordinator, but you know what? It's Friday night. We can let these conversations go where they want for the most part. I feel like the defense is really going to be it's going to stand to benefit the most from our new hire. From our head coach in Jesse, the defense is going to be that's going to be the side of the ball that benefits the absolute most. And someone said recently, Lamar Jackson doesn't need this is before today's hire. Lamar Jackson doesn't need a great offensive coordinator. Lamar Jackson doesn't need a great head coach. He's going to be great regardless. And I said, oh, I like how you think. But in reality, in all honesty, everyone needs coaching. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the league. I mean, I guess maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. But, so in my opinion, I think the defense is the one that's going to absolutely benefit. I think I missed a super chat from earlier, and that is my mistake. Let me move this up here. There we go. Oh, let's move it over here. And see, I'm doing this in real time. Y'all see this? This is cool. Oh, there we go. All right. Well, I have a different screen that I'm supposed to use for my comments, but I didn't pull it up tonight, so it's all good. It is all good. There we go. Super chat. Thank you for the $2 donation. I appreciate you, Justin Hayes. He writes, Stanley's replacement needs to be found. Absolutely. That's facts. You're speaking facts. What replacement do we have for Ronnie Stanley? None. That's it. So the Ravens, but honestly, I think the defense is going to, be the one to benefit the most. But guess what? They were the ones that had the furthest to go, though. The defense had that you talk about a letdown. I'm not going to forget that Buffalo Bills game. I'm not going to forget how I felt watching that game. The offense was able to put up over 40 points in the last 4, 5, 6 minutes of the game. What happened? Defense collapsed. And that's why, our last head coach had I don't know if you want to call it, it's definitely not an accolade. I read that somewhere and I was like, that's not funny. The head coach with the most fourth quarter leads blown. All of that is about to change. Anyway, Omega Red, thanks for being here. Sean Page, do you like the new head coach hire for the Ravens? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yes, I do. If I were to grade the new head coach hire in Jesse Minter, I would give him right now. Let me backtrack. The day that we got the announcement, I would have given it maybe a B minus, maybe a B. Since he's come in and the people that he's starting to put in place it's showing me that he means what he says. He means business, because anybody can say something. And again, I told earlier in the stream, I don't listen to what people say. I really don't. You got to demonstrate with your actions. That's what I believe. You can tell me one thing all day and night, but if your actions say something totally different, then but now as Jesse Minter is starting to show like, hey, I said this. I said we're about to change the philosophy. I said we're about to change how this team operates. I said I'm coming in here. We're getting younger. We're going to be innovative. We're going to be creative. We're going to have a plan of attack. And he's putting pieces in place. That B- that I was giving him on the day that I found out he was going to be our new head coach, it's a B+ for me now. A-. I'm very pleased. So to answer your question, I know I went like the long route, but hey, that's what we do around here. We just like to have a good time. Absolutely, Slicer. No. Alohi Gilman. Is he a free agent? Yeah, I think we brought him in on a 1-year deal. He needs to go. He's got to go. That's a no. That's a strong no for me. No. Hey, Deshaun, how you doing? I'm about to rewatch from the beginning. I appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out to you. Thank you. We're about to get up out of here. We are. Lamar needs a great O-line and defense that won't give a hello. See, this is what I'm talking about. Let me go to my comment screen. I'm going to pull up a couple of comments and then we're going to get out of here. This is what I'm saying. See how nice it looks on the screen? That's what it was supposed to do earlier, but I just was lazy and didn't pull up the screen. But yes, that's what Lamar needs. Facts. Give him an O-line. Give him a defense that won't give up 21 points. And go ahead to that. Let's just throw in, give him a number 1 wide receiver. You talk about Super Bowls with an S. Facts. That Bills game, I won't forget that. I won't forget that. I remember watching Lamar's face and he kept looking at the screen. I had tears in my eyes. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to remember that. That was painful. Yes. Yolanda, please don't be like EDC. You got my word. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to try my absolute best to get it done. Yeah. I'm glad. You know what? And I appreciate you, Lady Laura Baltimore. One thing I love about this community that we're building, everybody doesn't have to agree. Some people really like John Harbaugh, and that's fine. I respect it. I'm not here to badmouth John Harbaugh. I think that he did, like I said earlier, he did great while he was here. I think the message got stale after a while. And I don't think that there was a scenario where we could win a Super Bowl with John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. I just didn't see it. After it didn't happen in 23, I was doubtful. And then we brought in Zach Orr, and I said, oh, Lord, hey, forget this. Let me know really quickly before we get out of here, where are you tuning in from? The reason I asked is I meant to ask that earlier in the stream, but it is so amazing to see where people are actually watching. This is why. Hey there, Devin. When you told me when you put in the chat last time where you were watching from, I said, oh my gosh, look at that. Wow. Yeah, she's tuning in from a ways away, but it's awesome. So let me know in the chat really quickly where you're tuning in from. Pick 14 will be an interior O-line. It better be. But Luke, here's my point. Here's what I'm going to say to that, Luke. It better be. It better not be, it better not be secondary. It better not be no cornerback. I know, or safety. I know that. I will lose it. I will absolutely lose it. But one thing I don't want us, for those who are just now tuning in, I don't want us to rely on rookies. Bring a rookie in, absolutely. Bring them in and let them be a backup. Let them get some preseason, play, so they can say, hey, I'm in the NFL now. But don't rely on your rookies. Don't do it. And one more thing before we go. Look at that. Frank is in Catonsville. I love it. Alpharetta, Georgia. Ty is in Pennsylvania. San Antonio. Yes. Nana Raven, she's in Maryland. Wow. Love it. I am in Florida. I just moved back. Catonsville. See, we got Catonsville in the house. We got a couple of Catonsville. Slyster, born and raised in Bmore by way of LA. Wow, Slyster, you're in LA. That's awesome. I just moved back to Florida from Baltimore, from the Baltimore area. I was over in my last place. I first moved to Owings Mills. That was home for me for a long time. And then I moved a little bit closer to DC. I don't know why. It was rough out there near DC. It was just very different. When I moved to Baltimore, I was like, oh man, I love this. When I moved over near the DC area, I said, this is a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Yeah, facts. We need a number one wide receiver. Absolutely. Yeah. I was going to say something earlier. Louisville, Kentucky. Okay, I see you. I was going to make a point earlier. I think it was off of one of Ty's comments, and I can't remember now. But it just, the draft. We definitely do not need to just rely on our rookies. Bring them in. Go ahead, draft an interior O lineman, draft an interior D lineman. We need it. We certainly do. But don't rely on it. Don't rely on it. We need to have some veterans protecting Lamar. I said what I said. Bring back Kevin Zeitler. I don't know how many more years. How old is Kevin Zeitler? Does anybody know? Who can Google real fast? How old is Kevin Zeitler? Does he have a couple of more years of playing time left in him? Yes, Nana said, Yolanda, please don't be another Harbaugh putting our rookies on special teams. Oof. Even our special teams is going to come up, right? I'm telling you, I have a good feeling. But yeah, I bring back Kevin Zeitler if he has a couple more years left in him. Definitely. Okay. Okay, wait. He's 36. Okay. Maybe that was a good idea 2 years ago to bring Kevin back, but I don't know. When I say veteran, I'm thinking anywhere from 29 to 31. That's to me a good age. You've been in the league a few years by now. You've got some experience. You're still in your prime. You can still protect Lamar Jackson. You're not going to get beat like a drum on every play. You're going to be able to push them defenders back. You see where I'm going with this? That's what I'm looking for. That's what we need. There you go. Well, family, it has been a blast hanging out with you all tonight. You guys really cheered me up. Thank you. It was a rough day. I had a long day today, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it tonight. I streamed tonight. I was like, no. I want to hang out with the flock. And then the news came about our new offensive coordinator. Welcome to the flock. Welcome. And I think we're back. I don't want to say it too soon, but I think the Ravens are back. Let's see who we get at defensive coordinator. And, I'm excited. I'm hopeful for a brighter future than I was a year ago. This time, I just didn't see much changing. I didn't think we would regress the way we did defensively, but we did. But that's beyond us. That's behind us now. Let's move forward. Support. We all have to support our guys, our coaches. We have to support them because guess what? We want them to be successful so that our team can be successful. But all right, family. Go and enjoy the rest of your evening. I don't know if Big Reg is streaming. I asked him earlier. I don't know if he's streaming tonight, but if not, I'm sure he's going to continue the conversation if Big Reg is streaming on Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk. Don't forget to go check out his channel. Subscribe to Jay the Six, awesome Panthers content creator, but really broke down last night in his stream about the Ravens. It was great, but let's wait and see and do what Keto Laura Baltimore said. Do what she said. Hit the like button. Come back. I'll see you very soon. I'll do another live stream. I'm not sure when. I'll try to do one Sunday, but if not, it'll be one day next week. Again, I want to go through all of the free agents, all of those who are on their last year of their contract, and kind of say like who we need to keep and who we need to let go of. Because I got some things to say. I have some strong opinions. All right, family. Good to see you. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you very soon. Stay blessed.